What's going on, guys? Magnum West here. Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be taking a look at three different Wolverines, specifically from left to right. We got a bootleg. This is not the CT Toys bootleg Tiger Stripe Wolverine. We have the CT Toys Wolverine right here, which is the star of the video, and then we got the official Mafex Wolverine. I do have a review for the original Mafex on my channel. I'll be linking that, and then yeah, but I don't want to blabber on too much in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, and as usual, we always start with the accessories, so he's going to come with pretty much everything that the original comes with. You got the yelling head, we got the like smirking head, and then he comes with two kind of open hands. There you go. And then he comes with two fists. These are the ones that he originally comes with out of the box. Um, and then he does come with like kind of a like flopped over mask. If this thing would freaking focus. There you go. So, I mean, I can't really knock it or anything. I wish it would have came with more. It being a CT Toys, I know they did that with the anti-venom suit, but they didn't do that with this guy. And then let's just go over the articulation real quick. As I said, this is the official. I do have a review, and it pretty much comes with the same articulation. Like the joints might be a little bit better, but for the most part, it's kind of the same. But we'll go over it real fast. So, there you go. So he's gonna look up about yay high. Look down about that much, and then you could get a little bit more with the neck. And then this head pops off a little easy, but so really good, man. I'm like really impressed. We'll get into that more in just a sec, but just for starters, like I'm really impressed. Like that's not even with the like little bit of extra you get with the butterfly. So there you go. And then mine did come. You can hear it. They did come a little bit tight. That's what she said. But overall still really good. And then as you can see, he comes with the hinge ball joint, so kind of typical. Then double jointed elbows. And then mine for some reason, like you can, I don't know if you can see it that well, but it is kind of like deformed, where like it's missing plastic or it might be like melted or something on this side. So I don't know if that's all of them, but that's my copy. And then it goes back with just the upper diaphragm, about that much back, about that much forward, and then mixing it with the lower diaphragm, he's gonna get about that much going back, and then about that much. So really good going forward, man. And then he's gonna kick out about that much, so almost complete splits. And then he's gonna kick forward about that much, and then he's gonna kick back, about that much without swiveling the joints. But overall, really impressed with this thing. But let's move on. Okay, and honestly, I think most of you guys, this is probably gonna be the most important part of the video, and thankfully, I'm fortunate enough to have the Brown Suit Wolverine Mafex, the original, and I wanted to show you guys the differences, right? And I think the most important thing and the first thing we'll be going over is sculpt. I think if the sculpt is pretty close, everything else is kind of secondary. Everything like paint, articulation, stuff like that. Or I wouldn't say articulation. It should still function, but I mean in the sense of like, maybe if it has less articulation or like slightly crappier paint or something, then you can kind of get away with that. But if it's a bad sculpt and it looks nothing like it's original, then I think that's kind of where it's bad. But the first thing I wanted to point out is obviously is if you guys have been looking, at it, you can clearly tell that the original is a lot more bulky and has a like a wider look to it. The left being the original, and then the right is the CT Toys, and then it's just a little bit like more puffed up where the original is kind of, like I said, wider, like looks more muscular, kind of has a more dense look, whereas the CT Toys looks a little bit like slimmed down. And I don't know if that's intentional or maybe they had to change it a little bit just to avoid really getting slammed by Mafex. I don't really know. Um, but that's the case for at least my copy. I don't know. Maybe someone else's copy is more accurate, but just so you guys can see the face as well. And then another thing is kind of the face sculpts are kind of different looking. I don't really know how to explain it. I'll show you guys here up close the original Mafex sculpt so you can kind of get a good look. Very, very good. And then the CT toys are just like ever so slightly off. Like the expressions aren't as like defined. And then the paint is obviously like a little bit shakier. The Mafex one is like not perfect on its own, but it is better than the CT toys as expected, right? I'm trying to be like realistic, and then we'll get kind of a profile of both of them just so you guys can see like, you know, and then from the back. Yeah, that kind of shows it off a lot better. And like that's pretty much what it is. It's like a like probably like a 10%, 15% downscale of the original Mafex, which there's nothing wrong with it. I will say this is like if you guys are on the fence about it, if you don't have the original Mafex to compare it to or have it side by side, you're not gonna notice any of these things. I'm gonna tell you 100%. Obviously, right here you can see them, but like in person, you're not gonna be able to tell. I'll like 100% say that. And then kind of that's kind of everything for these two, right? But just I'm just really happy with what it is, man. I'm so glad and kind of pissed off honestly that CT Toys made such a good one because I got the brown suit for like damn near $300. I want to say like a year ago. I got it for about $300. Mafex has still not said anything or commented on anything officially saying they're gonna re-release this guy. So that's what I had to pay. And if I knew the CT Toys was coming out, what was coming out with the brown suit, I would 100%. If you're thinking about buying this Mafex, don't do it, please. That's like the number one thing I want you guys to get out of this video is do not pay the freaking jacked up ass price for the original. For me personally, it's worth it, and I think the difference is already having the Mafex. I prefer the Mafex, but if I could rewind, and they're like, which one, if I were thinking to myself, which one should I buy? I would 100% go with the CT Toys and not pay the almost $300 I paid for the Brown Suit Wolverine, just because this is $25 and I could buy so many other figures and get so much more enjoyment out of so many other things than buying this Brown Suit Wolverine. You know what I mean? But I love the Brown Suit Wolverine original Mafex. It's my preferred one, but that's kind of what I would say on that, right? And one real quick thing I wanted to hit on, just because your boy made an oopsie, and I thought this was the CT Toys Tiger Stripe, but it wasn't. It's a bootleg, and it took me a while to realize. Like I was buying this guy, and then I was scrolling down, and this guy was like on the recommended. So I was like, okay, so it knows what I want. It knows I want the CT Toys. So I just ordered it like really without thinking. That was kind of more on me than AliExpress. But I will say, from the legs up, this is a really good bootleg figure. The legs like did not work at all. They kept his right leg kept popping out. But like as you can see, it's still pretty good quality. Like I'm not gonna do a review on this one because it's like kind of busted. But I just wanted to include it. And then also the reason I mentioned it, the main reasoning, is this is kind of the thing that CT Toys is doing, right? not only are they making great bootlegs, but just the fact that they're making such good bootlegs is revolutionizing the bootleg game, right? And these are bootlegs. They're not third parties. They're clones of an original product or licensed product. So they do count as bootlegs. Nothing wrong with that. Um, I think it's great. Like I said, now you have a brown suit Mafex Wolverine for 25 bucks instead of having to pay the scalper price or anything, right? I wouldn't even really consider it a scalper price at this point. It's more like that's just, how the product has matured and the value of it. Um, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. But what's it called? This like isn't a horrible bootleg. Like I said, like it moves really good. Like it has nice joints. It moves good. Like it feels like a good bootleg. But the only thing is the legs were really bad, right? Like I heated it up, and I'm not even joking. The like peg that plugs into here, like literally just stretched out, like fucking Mr. Fantastic style. It just like it looked like it was about to rip. So like I kind of like squished it back together and then ran cold water over it and then just took it out. That way it wouldn't get stuck in there or anything. So what I'm planning on doing, and maybe I'll put it in my next kit bash video. I'm working on one right now. I'm gonna probably just gonna rip the boots off the legs of this guy and then rip pretty much the lower legs apart and then put the hip piece on these legs and stuff so I could have both. I already have the Mafex Brown Suit. I don't need another one. And then maybe if I can salvage the other stuff, maybe I'll make like a bootleg or like a custom out of this guy. I don't know. I'm not too sure, but we'll see what happens. But I just wanted to include that real quick, just so you guys know. Make sure you pay attention, and it's actually a store on AliExpress or whatever site you use that is CT Toys. And the way you'll know is, let me grab the box real quick. It'll actually say CT on it. I think they changed it to where it's not gonna have the actual product name on it anymore, but it is gonna look like this, kind of like the long style of box, and then it's probably gonna say CT on it. So just pay attention to that, and good luck. Anyways, guys, that pretty much wraps up the video. I just wanted to bring you kind of like a quick comparison slash review of the CT Toys Brown Suit, as I think it's kind of a big step towards what I think is kind of a revolution in the figure community. I just think that there's a lot of stuff coming out right now that is not worth the money. And I'm not like this big freaking huge YouTuber, but I would like to use the little bit of influence I have to kind of tell you guys that, and this is also my final thoughts on the figure, is there is really good product out there that is from a company that wants to work for your money. And I'm not saying deserving it is definitely subjective, but there's other things out there to spend your money on, right? Like, I think if anybody says that there's a single Marvel Legends that's better than this CT Toys Brown Suit Wolverine, I heavily, heavily ask you to reconsider your entire train of thought as why that would be, as there's not a single Marvel Legends that I can name that has the same articulation that this Brown Suit Wolverine has. That's just a fact. I'm sorry. It has pretty much the same, the same articulation that these guys have, but you don't have to worry about it because buying one of these at retail, you can buy 3 of these. So it's like if you break it, oh well, just go order another fucking CT Toys and you'll be all right. Or you could buy one of these and have it for spare parts in case you already have the Mafex. It's so much more worth your money. I just ask you guys, at the end of the day, you can do whatever the hell you want, but I ask you guys to make better decisions and make these companies work harder for your money. That's kind of everything I'd have to say in regards to the subject of this figure. But on the figure itself, I'm really, really happy that there's a good, affordable version of this figure out there. Whether it's a bootleg or not, I don't care. I really, personally, I think it's good. If Mafex would have reissued their Brown Suit Wolverine, they would have gotten so much money from that, but they didn't. People have been asking for a reissue of the Mafex Brown Suit Wolverine for the longest, and they haven't listened, and they didn't do it. Honestly, last year, they pretty much reissued every single comic book figure that they ever did, except for Brown Suit Wolverine. So it's like, it's really ridiculous. I don't know. Maybe one of you guys have some intel out there that I'm unaware of as to why they didn't reissue this guy. So, leave a comment down below why that reason is. But I think it's stupid, regardless of whether whatever the reason is. I think it's just dumb that they did that. But without further ado, thank you so much, guys, for watching the video. I hope this video helped you guys make a decision on, kind of what figure, you wanted to buy, or if you were on the fence about the CT toys. I'm here to give you my stamp of approval and say that it's very good. And unless you have this one, you are not going to notice the difference between the two at all. So go ahead, just make sure it's an actual CT Toys Brown Suit Wolverine. And hope you guys have a lot of fun with it. I have plans for this figure, like I mentioned in the last bit. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to drop a like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And stick around for more videos if you like what you see. But without further ado, y'all have a good one. Peace.